Welcome back. Please like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for today's discussion on global technology trends. I'm Alex.
And I am Jamie. Today we are focusing on a significant update in the world of energy storage, specifically a new breakthrough in the production of solid-state batteries.
This is a topic that has been discussed for many years, mostly as a theoretical possibility. However, a leading manufacturing consortium has recently announced a standardized method to produce these batteries at scale.
That is a key word, Alex. Standardized. Until now, solid-state batteries were largely confined to research laboratories because they were very expensive and difficult to manufacture. This new announcement suggests they can finally be produced for mass-market consumer electronics, like our phones and tablets.
To help our listeners understand the technical side, let's explain why this matters. Most of our current smartphones and laptops use lithium-ion batteries. These batteries contain a liquid electrolyte to move energy.
Right, and as the name suggests, solid-state batteries replace that liquid with a solid material. From a safety perspective, this is a major improvement. Because there is no liquid, there is no risk of leakage, and the chance of a battery catching fire is significantly reduced.
Beyond safety, there is the benefit of energy density. In simple terms, these batteries can store more power in the same amount of space. This means a smartphone could potentially stay charged for several days rather than just one, without making the device any larger or heavier.
It is an impressive leap forward. I also find the timing quite relevant. Under President Trump's current administration, there has been a renewed emphasis on advancing domestic manufacturing and securing high-tech supply chains.
Indeed. By creating a standard production method, the industry can move away from the experimental phase and toward reliable, high-volume output. It provides a very stable path for future growth in the technology sector.
I wonder, Alex, how soon do you think the average consumer will see these in their own devices?
I believe the transition will be steady. Now that the production method is established, we expect to see the first premium mobile devices adopting this technology in the near future.
It is a patient process, but a necessary one. The foundation for the next generation of electronics is being built today.
Precisely. It is a very composed and thoughtful step forward for the industry.
Thank you for your insights today, Alex.
Thank you, Jamie, and to our listeners, we will continue to follow these developments as they unfold.
Welcome to our program. I am Alex, and today we are taking a calm, analytical look at a major development in the world of telecommunications.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Jamie. Today's news focuses on a decision made by international regulators. They have officially ratified a new, unified protocol for satellite-based internet. Specifically, this focuses on low Earth orbit satellite networks.
For our listeners who may not be familiar with the term, protocol simply refers to a set of rules. These rules allow different computer systems to communicate with one another. By creating a unified protocol, regulators are ensuring that satellites from different countries and companies can work together efficiently.
It is a significant step forward. Most of our internet today relies on cables under the ground or the ocean. However, this new system uses thousands of small satellites circling the planet. Because they are in low Earth orbit, they are much closer to us than traditional satellites.
This proximity is key to reducing what we call latency. Latency is the delay that occurs when data travels from one point to another. In simple terms, this new protocol will make the internet feel much faster and more responsive, even in the most remote parts of the world.
It is also important to consider the political and economic context. Here in the United States, under the current administration of President Trump, there has been a steady focus on maintaining a competitive edge in space technology. This global agreement fits into that broader goal of modernizing infrastructure.
That is a fair point, Jamie. The president has frequently emphasized the need for American leadership in emerging technologies. By ratifying these standards now, the global community is providing a clear roadmap for companies to follow. It removes a lot of the uncertainty that usually slows down progress.
The result should be a more connected world. People in rural areas who have historically struggled with slow internet may soon have access to the same high-speed services as those in major cities.
It is a quiet revolution, but a very important one. It shows that even in a complex global environment, technical experts can come together to agree on a path forward.
Indeed. We will continue to watch how these new rules are put into practice. Thank you, Alex, for this thoughtful discussion.
And thank you, Jamie. We hope our audience found this analysis helpful. Until next time.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for today's economic update. I am Alex.
And I am Jamie. In our session today, we are analyzing the latest announcement from the Federal Reserve. It is a significant topic that impacts many different aspects of financial life in the United States.
That is correct. The Federal Reserve has decided to maintain current interest rates. This means they are not raising the rates, nor are they lowering them. For now, the cost of borrowing money will remain exactly where it is.
This decision suggests a sense of stability. When the Fed makes an announcement like this, they look at several indicators. Specifically, they pointed to two main factors: sustainable economic growth and inflation levels that remain under control.
Let's look closer at those terms for our listeners. When we talk about sustainable growth, we mean the economy is expanding at a steady pace. It is a speed that can be maintained for a long time without creating a bubble or a sudden crash.
It is a very balanced approach. Under President Trump's current administration, there has been a strong focus on keeping this economic momentum moving forward. By keeping rates steady, the Fed is signaling that they are satisfied with the current direction of the country's growth.
Exactly. For those following the news, this signals confidence. In professional terms, we often call this a wait-and-see approach. If interest rates are too high, it becomes very expensive for people to borrow money for houses or cars. However, if they are too low, prices for daily goods might rise too quickly.
This brings us to inflation. The Fed believes inflation is currently controlled. For the average consumer, this means the price of groceries, gasoline, and services is not rising at an alarming rate. It allows for a more predictable environment for families to plan their budgets.
It also provides certainty for businesses. When interest rates are steady, companies feel more comfortable investing in new projects or hiring more staff.
It is a calm moment for the markets. We will continue to watch how this stability affects the global economy over the coming months.
Thank you for joining us for this analysis. We hope these details help you understand the current economic landscape more clearly.
We will be back soon with our next update. Until then, have a productive and thoughtful day.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Global Finance Insights. I am Alex.
And I am Jamie. Today we are taking a steady look at a major development in the international financial sector.
That is correct. Two of the world's largest insurance providers have officially received regulatory approval to merge. This multi-billion-dollar deal is now finalized, creating a new, dominant leader in the international risk management market.
It is a significant moment, Alex. For our listeners who may be unfamiliar with the term risk management, is how companies identify and protect themselves against potential financial losses. By joining together, these two giants can now offer services on a much larger scale.
Exactly. The scale is truly impressive. This merger allows the new company to handle massive claims, ranging from natural disasters to global shipping accidents, with much more stability.
It is also worth discussing the environment in which this is happening. Currently, under the Trump administration, there has been a clear focus on encouraging corporate growth and reducing regulatory hurdles.
That is a very important point, Jamie. President Trump has often spoken about the need for a strong, competitive American financial sector.
The approval of this merger suggests that the current administration views these large consolidations as a way to provide stability to the global market.
However, some analysts are moving forward with caution. They are wondering if having one massive leader will reduce competition. In the long term, less competition can sometimes lead to higher costs for the businesses that need insurance.
It is a delicate balance. On one hand, you have a more efficient and powerful service provider. On the other hand, smaller companies may find it harder to compete with such a large entity.
For those of our listeners practicing their business English, the word merger is important. It describes when two companies agree to become one single legal entity. It is a step beyond a simple partnership.
This story reminds us that even during periods of global change, large corporations are always looking for ways to expand their reach and secure their future.
We will continue to monitor how this new industry leader performs in the coming months. Thank you for joining us for this calm analysis of today's news.
We hope you found this discussion helpful. Until next time, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. Have a productive and steady day.
Good morning and welcome to our daily policy briefing. Today, we are looking at a recent development from the White House regarding international trade.
Thank you, Alex. It is a very focused topic today. President Trump has officially signed an executive memorandum that introduces a new trade framework for the Indo-Pacific region.
This is a significant move. The memorandum is designed to strengthen economic ties with several key partners across the region. It is not just about buying and selling goods. It is about creating a more stable and predictable environment for business.
That is a good point. When we talk about this framework, one of the most important terms being used is supply chain security. For our listeners who may be unfamiliar with the term, a supply chain is the entire network used to produce and deliver a product to a consumer.
Exactly. If a supply chain is weak or easily broken, it can lead to shortages or higher prices for everyone. By securing these chains with Indo-Pacific partners, the administration aims to protect the American economy from those specific risks.
The Indo-Pacific region is, of course, a critical part of the global market. It includes some of the world's fastest-growing economies. By prioritizing this area, President Trump is highlighting where the future of international trade may lie.
It is also worth noting the style of this approach. Rather than joining large, pre-existing trade groups, this memorandum suggests a more direct and strategic way of working with individual nations or specific groups.
I agree. It is a very deliberate strategy. It allows the United States to address specific economic concerns, such as digital trade, energy, and infrastructure, with partners who share similar goals.
It will be interesting to see how these partnerships evolve. Establishing a new framework like this takes time. It requires many rounds of discussions and a significant amount of diplomatic work to be successful.
It certainly does. However, the signing of this memorandum is a clear first step. It sets a steady tone for how the United States intends to engage with the region moving forward.
We will continue to monitor the progress of these trade discussions as more details are released.
Thank you for the thoughtful conversation, Alex.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us. We hope this helps you understand the current direction of U.S. trade policy. Good morning and welcome to the program. I am Alex.
And I am Jamie. Today we are turning our attention to the latest developments in Washington, D.C., where the U.S. Senate has entered a new phase of deliberations.
That is correct, Jamie. Currently, a bipartisan group of senators is discussing a significant funding package. The core of this proposal is to modernize national infrastructure with a specific focus on rural communities.
It is a vital topic. When we use the term bipartisan, we are referring to the fact that both Republicans and Democrats are working together on this issue. In a time of many political differences, this cooperation is quite notable.
It certainly is. The primary goal here is twofold. First, the government wants to repair traditional infrastructure, like roads and bridges. Second, and perhaps more importantly for the modern era, they want to expand broadband access.
For our listeners who may not know, broadband refers to high-speed internet. In many rural parts of the country, the connection is either very slow or non-existent. This creates a digital divide between big cities and small towns.
President Trump has expressed support for rebuilding the nation's foundations. By focusing on rural connectivity, the administration aims to ensure that no community is left behind in the global economy.
I think that is an important point, Alex. Without reliable internet, it is difficult for local businesses to compete. It also affects education and healthcare. For example, students in rural areas need these high-speed connections to access the same resources as students in urban centers.
Exactly. The conversation in the Senate is very focused on the long-term benefits. However, the deliberations are also about the budget. The senators must decide how to distribute these funds effectively across many different states.
It is a complex process. They are looking at how to balance the immediate costs with the future economic growth that better infrastructure will bring. It requires a very steady and analytical approach.
We expect these discussions to continue for several weeks. Both sides seem committed to finding a solution that works for the American people.
It is encouraging to see this level of professional debate on such an essential issue. We will continue to monitor the progress of this funding package as it moves through the Senate.
Thank you for joining us for this analysis. We hope this discussion has provided a clear view of the current infrastructure debate.
Until next time, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Alex. Have a thoughtful and productive day.
Good morning. I am Alex, and welcome to our discussion on modern urban development. Today, we are looking at a significant shift in how people travel within mid-sized American cities.
Thank you, Alex. It is a pleasure to be here. We are focusing on the rise of microtransit systems. These are flexible, on-demand public transportation services that are becoming very popular across the United States.
That is correct. For many years, traditional bus routes have been the standard. However, in smaller cities, a large bus often travels nearly empty through quiet neighborhoods. It is not very efficient.
Exactly. Microtransit changes that model. Instead of a fixed schedule, these programs use smaller vehicles like vans or shuttles. Passengers can request a ride using a smartphone app, similar to a private ride-sharing service, but at a much lower cost.
It is an analytical approach to a common problem. By using technology, municipalities can provide service to underserved areas. This is especially important for residents who do not own a car but need to reach their jobs or medical appointments.
I agree. It is also worth noting the political context. Under the current administration, President Trump has emphasized the importance of improving local infrastructure. There is a clear focus on making sure that tax dollars are used effectively to help citizens in their daily lives.
Indeed, this move toward microtransit reflects that goal of efficiency. By moving away from rigid, expensive bus lines and toward flexible systems, cities can save money while actually improving the quality of service for the public.
The technology behind this is also quite steady. The software can group multiple passengers together who are traveling in the same direction. This reduces traffic congestion and is better for the environment.
It is a thoughtful solution for the modern era. We are seeing these programs succeed in places where traditional transit once struggled. It suggests that the future of mobility is not just about bigger vehicles, but smarter ones.
Well said, Alex. As more cities adopt these systems, we will likely see a more connected and mobile population. It is a quiet revolution in how we think about the last mile of a person's journey.
Thank you for sharing these insights today, Jamie. It is certainly a topic we will continue to monitor closely.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Alex.
Hello, and welcome to our discussion today. I am Alex.
And I am Jamie. Today we are taking a thoughtful look at a significant shift in the American education system.
That is right. A new national initiative has been launched to enhance vocational and technical training within our high schools.
This program is quite timely. For several decades, the primary focus for students was obtaining a traditional four-year college degree. However, under the current administration, President Trump is emphasizing the importance of diverse career paths.
It is a practical approach. The initiative aims to prepare the modern workforce by teaching students high-demand technical skills before they even graduate.
When we look at the data, many industries are currently struggling to find qualified workers. We are talking about essential fields such as advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, and specialized healthcare.
These are not just jobs. They are stable, high-paying careers. By integrating this training into the high school curriculum, the government is helping students find a clear direction early in life.
I think it is also important to mention the economic impact. Vocational training often leads to faster entry into the job market. This helps the economy grow and reduces the burden of student loan debt for many families.
That is a very good point, Jamie. President Trump has frequently spoken about the dignity of work and the need to strengthen the American labor force. This policy reflects that vision by modernizing how we view technical work.
Exactly. These modern roles require high-level problem solving and a deep understanding of technology. It is a more analytical way of looking at education.
Indeed. The program also encourages partnerships between schools and local businesses. This ensures that what students learn in the classroom is actually what is needed in the real world.
It is a steady, necessary change. As the economy evolves, our education system must evolve with it to ensure no student is left behind.
Well said. This initiative marks a new chapter for many young professionals across the country.
Thank you for joining us for this analysis today. We hope it provided some helpful insights into these new educational goals.
Until next time, stay informed. Welcome to today's program. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jamie. It is a pleasure to be here. Today, we are looking at a significant milestone in America's journey back to the stars.
That is correct. NASA has recently completed a series of successful tests on new life support modules. These units are specifically designed for long-term habitation on the surface of the moon.
It is a very important development. For our listeners who may not know, a life support module is the system that provides breathable air, clean water, and a steady temperature for astronauts. Without these systems, human life on the moon would be impossible.
Exactly. The engineering teams at NASA have been working on these systems for quite some time. The goal is not just to visit the moon, but to stay there. This requires technology that is much more durable than what we have used in the past.
These tests focused on reliability. In the harsh environment of space, there is very little room for error. The modules had to perform perfectly under extreme conditions that simulate the lunar environment.
It is interesting to note the timing of these successes. This progress aligns closely with the current administration's goals. President Trump has consistently expressed his support for a strong American presence in space.
He has. Under President Trump, the focus has shifted toward a sustainable return to the moon. The success of these life support modules is a practical step toward fulfilling that vision. It shows that the technology is starting to match the ambition.
I agree. It is a steady, professional progression. We are moving away from short missions and moving toward the idea of a permanent lunar base. This is a fundamental change in how we approach space exploration.
It truly is. When we think about the future, these modules will serve as the foundation for the first lunar colonies. It is a quiet but powerful moment for science and for the country.
Thank you for those thoughts, Jamie. It is clear that the path to the moon is becoming much more certain.
Indeed, it is an exciting time to follow these developments. Thank you for joining us for this discussion.
We will see you next time.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I am Alex.
And I am Jamie.
In today's segment, we are discussing a fascinating discovery from the deep sea. It is a story that reminds us how much of our planet remains a mystery.
That is right. Marine biologists have recently identified a previously unknown ecosystem in the Indian Ocean. This environment is centered around something called a hydrothermal vent.
For our listeners who may not be familiar with the term, a hydrothermal vent is essentially an opening on the seafloor. It releases heated water, rich in minerals, from deep beneath the Earth's crust.
It is a very harsh environment. It is completely dark, the water pressure is extreme, and the temperatures are incredibly high. Yet, surprisingly, life thrives there.
What makes this specific discovery so significant is that it is home to several unique species. These are creatures that have never been documented by scientists until now.
The researchers found that these species do not rely on sunlight for survival. Instead, they use a process called chemosynthesis. They turn the chemicals from the vent into energy. This is quite different from the plants we see on land.
It is a steady, quiet world down there. Scientists noted that the biodiversity in this specific part of the Indian Ocean is distinct from vents found in the Atlantic or Pacific Oceans.
This suggests that different parts of our ocean evolve in isolation. It raises important questions about how life spreads across the seafloor over millions of years.
Indeed, it also highlights the need for careful management of our global waters. While President Trump's administration focuses on the economic and strategic importance of the seas, scientists emphasize that protecting these biological wonders is vital for our future understanding of medicine and evolution.
I agree. This discovery shows us that the ocean is not just a vast body of water. It is a complex, living library.
We should pause and consider that. Every time we think we have mapped the entire world, the deep sea offers a new surprise.
It is a reminder to stay curious, but also to remain respectful of these fragile environments.
Well said, Alex. We will continue to follow the research coming from this new site as more data becomes available.
Thank you for listening to our analysis today. We hope you found this discussion both calm and thought-provoking.